The Atlanta Braves dropped Game 3 to the Arizona Diamondbacks 6-4 on Sunday, winning the series, but not getting the sweep, and it felt like they could have. Let's talk about it.
This is the Braves Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Atlanta Braves. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into the Braves Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host, Lindsey Crosby. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. No Jake Mastriani today. He is doing a family function at the moment, but he'll be back with an episode of Locked On Braves pretty soon to break down this entire series. And 6-4 victory by the Arizona Diamondbacks keeps them from being swept. And I think the big story for Atlanta in this one, we're going to get to everything. We're going to get to pitcher Schwenbach. We're going to get to the pitching. We're going to get to, just every aspect of this game. But the real story here is missed opportunities by the Atlanta Braves. There were plenty of chances or plenty of innings where the Braves got a guy on early. Look at the very first inning. Alex Verdugo singles in the very first inning. Austin Riley doubles right behind him, sends Verdugo to third. Double play. And it's a fly out from Marcell Ozuna. And then it's Corbin Carroll gunning down Verdugo at home. And in Verdugo's defense, he did have a little small stumble when he first came off the bag. They showed that in one of the shots. But it's still, that was kind of indicative. This was something where the Braves had chances in every single inning. They weren't all to open the inning, right? The second inning was 2 outs. Eli White walks, makes it to second base on a Drake Baldwin single, and then Nick Allen strikes out, ends the possible rally there. But every inning felt like Atlanta had a chance and just couldn't quite get it done. Third inning, Alex Verdugo singles to open the inning. Riley strikes out. Austin Riley cannot wait to get out of Arizona. Just an awful series for him. We'll get to him in a minute. But Marcell Ozuna, double play. He did not have a great game. His only hit of the game his only significant hit of the game comes in the 9th inning there. But just every single inning, except for I think maybe the 4th, Atlanta had an opportunity. And the big thing for me, the big one that I think really kind of hurts the Braves is one, in the 5th inning, you only get 1 run. Okay. Eli White doubles. Drake Baldwin strikes out. White advances on a throwing error. Nick Allen strikes out. Verdugo doubles to bring him in. And then Riley grounds out. Another situation there. The other flip side of this, and we're going to get to it, is the pitching. I actually think Spencer Schwenbach did okay in this game. We're going to break that down. But I'm not going to blame this loss on bad luck. There were things that went against Atlanta that made it harder for them to win, whether it was a check swing for a strike 3 that was not called. They turn around and get a double after that, score some runs. It was a 1-run game when that happened. Whether it was specific situations, whether it was pitches that should have been strikes that weren't called strikes, that kind of stuff, it is true that Atlanta would have had a better chance of winning had those things not happened. But the real issue you had, and the microcosm of everything, is that 7th inning for Atlanta. Brandon Pfaadt comes back out. At that point, when Brandon Pfaadt comes back out, Atlanta is 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. They've left 5 on base. Atlanta starts off getting 4 straight players on base, right? Eli White reaches on a fielding error by Eugenio Suarez. Drake Baldwin singles. It moves White to second. Nick Allen singles. White scores from second. Drake Baldwin goes to second base. They pull Brandon Pfaadt. His day is done at that point. Alex Verdugo gets another single. Again, he went 4 for 4 with 2 RBI in this one. He gets another single. Drake Baldwin scores. Allen goes to third. And from that point, right there, the heart of your owner killed the rally. Austin Riley strikes out swinging. Marcell Ozuna strikes out singing. Matt Olson draws a walk. It was great. And then Ozzie Albies pops out. And not only does Ozzie Albies pop out, in foul territory, mind you, he does it on a fastball down the middle. It's not like Ozuna's strikeout was on, I believe it was an inside four-seamer. No, it was an outside four-seamer. He expanded the zone. Every pitch he got in that at-bat was outer third, right? He swung through a sweeper out there. He fouled off a fastball out there. And then he swung through a fastball out of the zone. The rare time he chased, and that happened, okay? Ozzie Albies got what's the velocity here? Ozzie Albies got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, literally middle. Attack zone 5, if you've seen the different attack zones on StatCast. Attack zone 5, and he pops it to third base. This is not the place to have the bigger conversation. This is not the place to get into that whole thing. Jake will do it on the show. But Ozzie Albies' play so far this season has been a problem. We saw him come back up in the 9th inning with 2 outs. Thankfully, he got the ball into play. It still was an out. He lined out to center field, but at least this one wasn't in foul territory. And here's the thing. That last at-bat, 3 of those 4 pitches were down the middle of the plate. He took a splitter as center cut as you possibly could for a strike. He fouled off a fastball. I believe he fouled that one back. There was a splitter inside he fouled off. And then it was a fastball in the lower third, right down the middle. And he lazy fly 90-something miles an hour into center field. So the bottom of the order did really well today. Eli White, Drake Baldwin, Nick Allen combined 4 for 10, 4 runs scored and an RBI. Alex Verdugo leading off 4 for 4, 2 RBI. The problem in this one was the heart of the order not doing enough. Austin Riley goes 1 for 5. Marcell Ozuna goes 2 for 5. He does get that RBI hit in the 9th inning, brings a run in. Matt Olson goes 0 for 3. He did walk twice. I saw this in the chat there, and somebody made a very good point. Why would you pitch to Matt Olson when Ozzie Albies is behind him? They didn't have to pitch to Matt Olson today. They walked him twice. He did strike out once. But they didn't have to pitch to him because Ozzie was behind him. Ozzie goes 0 for 5. And then in what's become a rare cold day for Michael Harris recently, he goes 0 for 4, but he doesn't strike out. I will point that out. He got a little better there. So, honestly, I would have loved to see Brian Snitker send Sean Murphy up to pinch hit in the 9th inning. I knew he wasn't going to do it, right? You could put Orlando Arce at second base or whatever. Like, we all knew he wasn't going to do it, but I would have loved to see Sean Murphy up there batting in the 9th inning in place of Ozzie Albies. Not like Sean Murphy is playing with an amazing batting average right now. I think he's hitting 220, but he's been pretty clutch in those situations this year where Ozzie Albies, I had it here during the game. Ozzie Albies right now is 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs this year. And again, when they had to get an out in those situations, and Ozzie was up at least twice in those situations, they just threw him pitches down the middle and he couldn't buy a base hit. In just a second, let's talk about the pitching because the stats aren't necessarily great. I actually think Spencer Schwenbach did okay in this one, and I'll explain what I'm talking about next, right here on the Braves Postcast. But first, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Monarch Money. If you ever check your bank account and wonder where did all my money go, but like between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, it's easy to lose track, and that's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. It's not just a budgeting app. Monarch Money is a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, your investments, your spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and you start actually building wealth. What I love, you managing money with your spouse, your partner, whatever, it's smoother than ever. You can track shared accounts, you can track personal accounts, it can keep them separate. You can set goals that both of you can see in the app, and you can stay on the same page without stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Okay, so Spencer Schwenbach got the start today, and you had to feel good about the idea of potentially getting a series sweep with Spencer Schwenbach on the mound, despite the fact that they had Brandon Pfaadt, and Brandon Pfaadt has been one of the better starters for this team. It's wild to think about a team that has both Zach Gallen and Corbin Burnes as having their best starter be Brandon Pfaadt, but going into this game, he absolutely was. Spencer Schwenbach, 88 pitches, 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 of those were earned, only 1 walk to 6 strikeouts. Very Schwenbach-like line as far as 1 walk, a strikeout an inning. That's kind of what he does. He did give up a home run in this one. I think it was Corbin Carroll tagged him in the 4th. Perdomo, shortstop Gerardo Perdomo tagged him in the 4th inning. We did see plenty of extra base hits. He gave up 3 doubles. It was Josh Naylor, Alec Thomas, and Lourdes Gurriel. And Corbin Carroll hit one of his 2 triples off of Spencer Schwenbach. So a lot of hard hit contact, and I feel like that's something we've seen a little bit more this year. But a day when he clearly did not have his best stuff, he was able to minimize the damage. This was something he got 16 whiffs, 32% CSW, but he really struggled on the fastball. The fastball it's not his best pitch, but that's been something that he's been able to use a lot, especially when he's facing some tough lefties that can get him ahead in counts. They swung at 8 of his 4-seam fastballs. He threw 18 of them. He got 1 total whiff on it, just 1. They fouled 1 of those off. They put 6 of them into play, and a couple of them were pretty hard hits. He did not have his best stuff, but despite that being said, he was able to battle. And at the end of the day, you still got a quality start out of Spencer Schwenbach. Now, the thing that I do find really funny is he allowed 4 runs, 3 were earned, but the unearned run was actually an error by Spencer Schwenbach. And I always think this is really funny where you see those situations where the pitcher commits the error. Now the run is unearned, but it was his error. And so if there was a rule about charging that to him, this is a quality start in name. I don't necessarily think it counts as a quality start as far as actual results because 4 total runs off of him. Aaron Bummer also struggles a little bit in his outing. And I will say, not making excuses, but it is important to acknowledge that the umpiring was bad for both sides in this game. A lot of pitches. I remember Pavin Smith at bat where I believe you would have walked him, but you got a strike call at the bottom of the zone, below the bottom of the zone. But we saw plenty of issues back and forth with calling balls and strikes in this game. We'll get the scorecard tomorrow. We'll see what it looks like. Davis Daniel made his Braves debut, pitched 1 inning, no hits, no walks, struck out 1 there in the 9th. That sets up a really interesting scenario. Again, Jake's going to get into all of this on the next episode of Locked on Braves. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when he drops the episode. But the Braves DFA Jesse Chavez for the 2nd time this year. Farewell until next week when we see you back in Gwinnett. Called up Davis Daniel. Daniel pitched today. And so I'm assuming Davis Daniel, who is a starter, normally he would have started for Gwinnett on Saturday. I assume Daniel's going to go back to Gwinnett tomorrow morning to make room for Ian Anderson. They claim Dean Anderson. What's going to happen when Tuesday rolls around? You need a starter. We all expect it to be AJ Smith-Shawver. We'll see what happens, how they're going to figure this out. There's a comment in here, St. James legend Davis Daniel. I am going to counter with Auburn University legend Davis Daniel. Let's get it right. So tomorrow's game, we are on to Colorado. That will be 8:40 p.m. Eastern, the opener. Bryce Elder versus Ryan Feltner. Jake will be back tomorrow for this for the postcast. It'll be both of us. But do us a favor. In the meantime, you're listening on audio. Leave a 5-star review for Locked On Braves. Apple, Spotify, whatever Google uses nowadays. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to both Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live to talk about all of this stuff. Again, 6-4 loss for the Braves to the Arizona Diamondbacks. They do win the series, though. They are now 12-15. And I don't want to jinx it. I feel like I'm probably going to end up jinxing it here. But the Colorado Rockies have the worst record in baseball. And if you sweep this series, which, again, that is very hard to do. But if you sweep this series, the Braves are back at 500. We'll see what happens. Again, 6-4 victory for the Arizona Diamondbacks over the Atlanta Braves. Jake's back with another episode either tonight or first thing in the morning, depending on when he gets back home. We are back with a postcast tomorrow night. Until next time, this has been the Braves Postcast.